All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is SGA's Senate session number 15 on the 16th of February, 2022. Ben, do we have enough voting members for quorum purposes?
We have at least 16 members. I believe there's a 17th who I haven't gotten down on the sheet yet, so we do have a quorum.
Perfect. That is perfect. All right, so tonight we have a pretty full agenda. We're going to be starting off with Senate vacancies, then going on to a organization proposal, and then we have a proposed resolution, and then 2 open letters. Afterwards, there's just the normal stuff of the reports from everyone, then open floor, and then adjournment. So we're going to get started with the Senate vacancies by starting with the Vandercook Senator, a nomination for the Vandercook Senator of Riley Odenhall. I believe I said that last name correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves for like just a few minutes and your experiences, Riley.
Hi, everybody. My name is Riley Odenall. I'm a sophomore tuba player at Vandercook College of Music. I'm from Lockport, Illinois. As for my experience and why I would be qualified, I'm on multiple organizations, including the student government within Vandercook. I'm the vice president of our NAFME chapter and our NBA chapter, as well as I am a section leader and I have been a manager at my job and stuff. So I have plenty of leadership experience. Um, I would like to work on creating less of a divide between Vandercook and IIT students and trying to get more more seamless events. Like we just had a comedian event a couple weeks ago, and we had a bunch of IIT students who came, which is kind of a big deal for us. So I'd like to continue encouraging that relationship and building upon that however I can.
All right. Thank you. So we are now going to move into a 5-minute question and answer period where senators can ask questions of Riley about what he wants to do, so on and so forth. So does anyone have any questions for him? Naeem.
Hi there, Riley. So I guess really my question is, what are you interested in doing with Senate as a Vandercook student? You know, what do you feel you have to offer that could be unique from an IIT student's perspective?
Oh, thanks for your question. So what I have to offer is I want to, like I said, I want to eliminate that divide. So um, I'd like to encourage and um, further IIT students to participate in Vandercook events and vice versa. Um, uh, we have music lessons and like ensembles that IIT students can be a part of. And I really want to further that. We have like you could take guitar lessons, piano lessons, any instrument, voice lessons, and I feel like a lot of IIT students don't even know about that, or even know that it was possible. So, and I know there have been schedule issues in the past, but I want to help eliminate all that and create the most engagement between the two schools as much as possible.
Thank you.
Elio?
Yes. Okay. I guess one question I have is, what specific policies would you like to push for that could bring less of a separation between IIT students and Vandercook? Because as you know, there's certain policies that you could possibly enact that could promote more unity between the two colleges, seeing that we share a campus. So I'm wondering what specific policies you'd have in mind for unifying the two colleges in the campus.
Thanks. That's a great question. I'd like to work with the administration at Vandercook to work on that as well. I know I was talking to the previous Vandercook senator for IIT Senate on getting the Vandercook Student Senate as a organization within IIT's broader scheme, so that way we would be able to have budget proposals, and that would allow for more seamlessness, and just really just being that mediator and negotiator between the two, and answering any questions and bridging that gap however I can.
Thank you very much, Riley.
Nova?
Can you hear me? I've had some
Yes.
problems with my microphone. Okay, thank you. It's all right if you don't have an answer to this, but if you do, I would like to hear. Do you have any plans for which committee you are looking forward to within SGA?
Honestly, I'm learning a lot more about SGA as as I participate. So at right now, no, but I'd love to be a part of any that I can and help out however I can.
All right. And Derek had a point of information in the chat. By president, the Vandercook senator is in student life. We have about a minute left for questions. Does anyone else have a question? All right. Seeing as we have no further questions, we're going to be moving into a discussion period where we will move you into a waiting room, Riley, but you will be back after the discussion. Thank you, Ben. Could I have a motion to approve? Sorry,
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a
Seconded.
Yep.
Thank you. Now we can move on to what I was talking about. So we're just going to move you into a waiting room, Riley. And after about 5 minutes at most, well, it might be a little longer depending on what goes on, we'll bring you back and we'll be able to actually vote on if you get the position or not. So, okay. Sorry about that. We can now start with our 5-minute discussion period. Does anyone have any points they would like to say or comments they would like to say? Elio?
I just want to say his answers were pretty clear and concise. Yeah, I think he's a good candidate as far as the eye can see when it comes to making sure that he communicates effectively between the senators. So yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? All right. If it's just Elio. All right. Do I have a motion for voting then?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Perfect, thank you. Ben, you can go ahead and release the voting form and bring Riley back into the room. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to be moving on to the rest of the Senate vacancies. The reason why we did that is because the Vandercook senator is like a specific. Um, it's like a specific seat in Senate, whereas we're currently voting on general seats. So we have quite a few different nominees or prospective senators for these vacancies, and we have a total of 6 different positions. Yes, Naeem?
I just wanted to ask, was the slate amended in any way with Anwar? I'm not exactly sure if that resulted in anything.
Uh, Ben?
So Anwar filed his paperwork about 5 hours ago. So we have not been able to confirm with OCL that Anwar would be eligible to serve. So we cannot vote on Anwar right at this moment.
Gotcha. Thank you. Just wanted to know if there are any changes. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for that question, Naeem. There already was a Google form which was sent out, which should allow you to see roughly what everyone is all about. But if you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, saying like major quick summary of leadership experience and what you want to do with SGA. We can just go in alphabetical order, please. So Andrew.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Andrew Petrovicius. I'm a third-year computer science major. I'm also minoring in applied mathematics and co-terming into data science. So right now I am the events chair for both Phi Kappa Sigma and for the U Farm. And so I guess my reason for trying to get involved in SGA is just because I hear all around campus people, bringing up how the school handles, Title IX cases and stuff like that. And there just being a lot of disappointment in how it's handled. So I wanted to come forward with that, doing something about it. I thought SGA would be the best place to do that.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Angirasa?
Hi, you can call me Angie.
Angie.
Right, so my name is Angiras Darbha. You can call me Angie. I am a third-year undergraduate student. I am studying aerospace engineering and applied mathematics. And in terms of leadership skills, back in India in high school, I led a team to raise about 100,000 INR through activities and stalls that went towards cancer research. And that was over a course of around 2 to 3 weeks. Furthermore, like for a project, I got a team to help us make a documentary about the city in Mumbai, like about Mumbai specifically. Furthermore, right now I am in an iPro called Engineering Life, which is about biotechnology, completely outside of my comfort zone. And I've taken up leadership roles in administrative positions and also in a technical position. I like to think I work hard to catch up, to learn, and to do what I can to be able to contribute to in whatever way I can.
All right. Thank you. Anshu?
I don't believe Anshu is here, so we can move on to Beck.
All right. Beck?
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Mohamed Tursumbayev. I am a sophomore majoring in computer science. I'm an international student. I'm from Kazakhstan. And as for the relevant experience, I can highlight that I created a team and motivated my friends to participate in the international project competition twice. As a group leader, I have had an opportunity to manage a team of 3 people, assign roles, determine goals, steps, and help my teammates to succeed in the programming. So this resulted in silver and gold medals. So I was a pretty good leader. Additionally, I was one of the founders of the club to support emotionally and prepare children for their exams. Founding the club helped me to learn about their organizational issues, making connections with orphanage representatives, and being a friend and a leader for 40 kids. Finally, I was a team leader at the award ceremony of the World Para Powerlifting Championship. My goals were being a liaison between the volunteering committee and volunteers. So I also kept track of schedules, flags, medals, prizes, and distributed the roles. Um, I was fully online until this semester, so I'm very excited about getting involved in something that I think would be like beneficial for the campus and for the student body as a whole. And from my personal experience and the experience of my friends, I can conclude that there are problems with there are engagement issues. So I would like to work on that. And if I will elected, I would like to create a connection between students and student government. So, and I think that attending meetings, so and like service and like being a friend of a student body would like help me to achieve my goal. Um, yeah, that's that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. All right, Caitlin?
Is my mic okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Caitlin Brown. I use they, them pronouns. My past history is I'm mostly have done a lot of things in the executive board of my own sorority. So I used to serve as treasurer for my sorority, managing a large budget. I currently serve on basically as the housing chairman, also known as the RA. For Greek life, it's slightly different than it would be on a typical ORL spectrum. During my time serving kind of as exec for my sorority, I have been instrumental in pushing forward towards LGBTQIA plus legislation and kind of policy changes and making it an official stance that we allow people who are on the LGBT plus spectrum, including allowing people such as myself who are non-binary, to be a part of an active system that is typically a binary system. Because of that, I'm also very familiar with how meetings like this are run. And as somebody who has been personally through the Title IX system, having gone through it myself, I'm very aware of the strengths, and I'm also very aware of kind of where things can improve upon. So I'm very active in kind of seeing where things need to improve upon and then making active steps to improve upon what's already there. So that's a little bit about myself. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hamid?
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. My name is Hamid Mohideen. I'm a freshman. I'm a psychology major and a pre-med minor. And some of my experiences at IIT so far in terms of leadership have been, I'm currently the president of Psychi Honor Society, the Psychology Honor Society. So IIT is chapter of national organization. I actually last semester came on to one of these Senate meetings for the proposal. American Medical Association's Event Planning Committee. And in terms of other leadership outside of, I've been here for a semester. In high school, I was really involved in student government and other organizations like the speech team and the National Honor Society. I was captain of the speech team and vice president of National Honor Society. And student government, I was secretary. And one of the biggest reasons I want to in Senate is because in high school I was doing mental health awareness I studied campaign in my last 2 years of high school, and I use student government as a way to uh, kind of used as a platform to make significant change. And I hope to continue that at IIT. I'm also a commuter, so I definitely want to bring that perspective to SGA and how we can accommodate for commuters at IIT. And overall, I'm just really excited to join Senate and try to make an impact in the IIT's community.
Thank you. Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm a third year psychology major with a computer science minor. They, them, by the way. I would like to, as a senator, bring more awareness and discussion about IIT's accessibility and sometimes lack thereof for folks that have physical disabilities or are neurodivergent and such. Because I've had several experiences with IIT personally, and my friends have had it, and I want to start to make changes to make it a bit more accessible, and I feel SGA is a good start for that. Historically, I have been the president of my high school's LGBTQ organization. I've also done activism work throughout the Southeast, advocating for LGBTQ disabled and youth of color in the South. And I also have had experience leading teams just through for small projects at my life. And in my psychology classes, I've also been studying specifically business and leadership psychology. So I feel like that could bring some things to the table.
All right, thank you. Nurpay? And by the way, this is just a general thing. If I ever pronounce any of your names incorrectly, please correct me. I'm terrible with names. Ben, is Nurpay here? Doesn't appear so. So we'll move on to Piero.
Alrighty. You all can hear me, right?
Yes.
All right. My name is Piero Maddaleni. I'm a first year computer science major in the College of Computing. And I originally come from Atlanta. Some of my leadership skills, I don't have anything from IAT yet, but over my past few years, I've had experience in scouting as a patrol leader and then leading my Eagle Scout project. I also led Hour of Code at my high school multiple times before the pandemic hit. And I also was one of the vice presidents of my school's makerspace back in high school as well. Some of my goals to focus on in SGA are mainly to increase communication between the administration and then also with SGA and students. And then another thing I want to help focus on within that communication between the SGA and administration is focusing on increased accessibility on campus, because just from time to time I noticed something which is suboptimal for those who, maybe in like a wheelchair or something like that. That's about it on my introduction.
Got it. Thanks, everyone. So I know this is a lot of people, but we're going to go into a 5-minute question and answer period. So if you have a question for someone, just raise your hand and ask. We're probably only going to get a couple questions, so if you want to extend the time, raise your hand and you can make a motion for it. Nova?
Thank you. And hello, prospective senators. I think I and all the senators here can agree that one of the hardest things of being a senator is to engage with their constituents. So my question to all of you is the following. What will you do to engage with the student body?
All right, wonderful question. Anki?
I guess it's just simply to talk to them, to ask them about what they think. I mean, it'll feel weird at first, naturally, if you're talking to new people, but you can't just send surveys all the time and expect people to properly respond. Sometimes you just have to go up and talk to them. So obviously, I'll do what I can, but I won't be opposed to just doing it the normal way, you know? The most direct way usually helps a lot. And in case that doesn't work out, sure, we have surveys for that. We have things for that. Maybe we can make an anonymous chat board, stuff like that. But talking to them is probably the most effective and most direct way to get started.
All right, thank you. Caitlin?
Yeah, definitely to add on to that, definitely talking to people, but also making sure you're available on any and all platforms that especially students use. So you're talking about Instagram, you're talking about Facebook, especially with the chats that go on that students often use, being active in those chats, corresponding with people, seeing where the need is, and kind of asking what, if there's a complaint, kind of addressing it and being like, so what do you think we can do better? But also finding people, just going through MTCC and pulling people aside and being like, so what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And while it may be a little awkward, our job is to represent people. And sometimes that is kind of in your awkward stage where you have to go out of your shell a little bit and communicate with people.
Thank you. Chris?
I think personally, as someone who is a third year, and has like been here for a while, SGA has kind of felt like this entity that even though it's a bunch of students in it, like to a lot of us, it still feels very, not necessarily detached, but it's like this other thing separate from us. And I think one of the things I would like to do is kind of not just like discuss like campus issues with people, but also kind of like talk about SGA and promote SGA in a way that makes it feel like it's accessible to people and not just like this, you know, body of people making all these decisions. Because I feel more people would be willing to engage if they felt it was something that they can engage with. Because honestly, I never really had interest in SGA or paid attention to it until even this school year, just because I never thought about it. It was never really something that was like accessible in terms of like open discussion with other people.
All right. Hamid?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting question because in my time here at IIT, which has been very limited, I've been kind of struggling with this with my organization. And it's basically the question is, how do you engage with people? How do you make people want to care about the things you're doing and want to interact with you and like participate, you know? And I think the three people who spoke before me really put it well. Just being out there, having SGA be something that is accessible and that people know about. I think it's easy to stay on Slack or whatever kind of platforms and feel you're really involving everyone when people don't even know about what SGA is. And so word of mouth, being on different platforms, as the three people before me mentioned, I think that's really important, being able to interact with people and on like an individual level. And so that SGA is not just something kind of separate from campus and is more of a tool that students can come to with their problems or with issues that need to be addressed in a manner that is accessible to both the administration and to students.
All right, thank you. And just as a notification to current senators, we have about a minute or so left. Everyone who currently has their hand raised, we'll get to them, but if someone wants to make a motion to extend after said question is done, just raise your hand and let me know. Andrew.
Yeah, hi. So kind of with Chris was saying, also being a third year, I felt that, you know, having, you know, SGA is just some separate entity. And I think that really a big part of that is just how it's currently structured is kind of set to include less people, just because, you know, Slack, the message is given, you know, you're not given really all the backstory of what's going on, just what I found. So if we really want to engage more people, also kind of what Ingrissa was saying, sorry if I mispronounced that, is just going around, you know, talking to the people, and then just having a way, an easy way for them to see, you know, what the big points are, like what the big issues are. Because, you know, talking to people on campus, they don't really know. So I think that's really, we just need to give easy information, easily accessible.
All right. Thank you. Beck?
So I echo previous speakers that there were like a lot of good points, and to promote awareness and connection, I believe that in addition to organizing regular meetings, surveys on behalf of student government, I think that senators should like attend club events, so like to be reaching like more students and like get them well. So, you know, like establish a connection between the organizers and students. Also, there was a good point about like promoting socials. So I believe that focusing on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter would be very beneficial for the student government. So the student body will get to know like, well, what the student government is and how much student government has power.
All right. Thank you. Piero?
I think that all the other, I guess, candidates you could say have really good points, but I think the main way I'd want to communicate with others or get feedback from the student population would just to be making it easier, which might not necessarily be talking to them directly, but making it like a, you know, as short of and simple as a process as possible. Whatever case that may be, whether it's just a QR code or just a form that they can drop in a box.
All right. Thank you. Beck, do you have another point?
Yeah, so I would like to add that it would be wonderful if student government would like discuss discuss with students in the process, in the middle of the making an important decision. So like they will get like a feedback from the students. So yeah.
All right. Got it. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
I just raised my hand.
Naeem.
Thank you. Hi there, everyone. So I have a speed question because there are so many of you, and you know, of course, I want to be here all night. So very often, you know, when we're new senators, we're very excited by the position, and you know, there's so many things we want to tackle, so many things we want to figure out. But you have to realize you're only a student. You only have so much time, and at least 1 year at a time, you have to choose one thing and really stick with it if you want to make an impact, right? So my question to you is, you can only choose one issue. What issue to tackle, you know, that is at the school? What issue would that be, and why? So phrase, if you can phrase your answer in just one sentence of I choose blank because of blank, that would be perfect. Whoever would like to start first, go ahead.
Thank you, Naeem. Chris?
I would like to choose accessibility as someone with both physical and mental deficits that have made campus and online life harder for me.
All right. Angi?
I'd like to look into mental health beyond awareness, because I feel like that's something that's really affected me, especially during COVID, how there was very little support system offered to students, right? And well, to me in particular, I can vouch for. I can't say I understand for others, but that's particularly the reason. Mental health is a very important thing.
All right, thank you. And thank you to Chris as well. I just realized I didn't say that. Andrew.
As I think I mentioned in my introduction, I think I would want to focus on, Title IX and sexual harassment and all that. And I don't think, I really need to go through why that's important or why that's needed at this school.
All right, thank you. Beck.
So, as I said previously, I would like to enhance a connection between the student government and student body. And I also would like, in the part of making a connection, I believe, the most crucial part of the connection is also like promoting, cultivating the reputation of the student government among students, and also like promoting school spirit, so everyone will have a strong bonds with the school and with student government. Thank you.
Thank you. Caitlin?
As someone who's been through the Title IX process and has helped others go through the Title IX process and has seen what helps people and what doesn't in that process, I definitely like to work, especially with the administration and Virginia Foster and Dean Stutz and SGA as a whole, to kind of improve the process and make it more friendly and less re-victimizing victims.
Thank you. Hamid?
I'd also like to focus on mental health resources at IIT, because although some of them are present, I know that students don't have knowledge of it or proper access to it. And it's something I'm very passionate about and something I've experienced and something I want to change at IIT.
All right, thank you. We have about a minute left after the extension. Does anyone else have any questions?
And thank you all for your answers, by the way. Thank you.
Sorry, yes, I do have a question.
Yes, Elliot?
Yeah, well, first off, do we want a motion to extend, or can I make sure to ask this question and we'll have enough time?
You can make a motion to extend if you want. You just need to tell me how long.
I'll motion to extend for 3 minutes.
All right.
Seconded.
Thank you.
So next question I have for the prospective senators is, we've talked about your goals, we've talked about communication with the students. I want to know your perspective on communication with the administration. What is something you're planning to do that enhances communication, not just between the university's administration, but the faculty members, such as the professors, or, the people that work in MTCC? What is something that you're going to try to enhance with your own college that will be able to bring positive effect to the students campus wide as well as within SGA in terms of communication?
Okay. If you could please keep your answers fairly succinct. I don't want to keep people here all night. That would be appreciated. It is a wonderful question, Elio. Sorry to kind of ask to cut short. Hamid?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think personally, it really comes down to just knowing the faculty and interacting with faculty. Oftentimes, you can have a teacher for like 2 years and they won't know who you are. And I know that's happened with a lot of my friends at IIT. It's important to know the teachers and for them to know you. And so we'll be able to communicate more effectively between them, SGA, and the administration.
Thank you. Chris?
I know the Lewis Science of College and Letters and the psychology department. There's already emails that get sent out on a fairly regular basis with updates. And I think perhaps including a broader scope of communication outside of just what's happening in the college, but also broader things that are being decided on in SGA or in other departments that might impact like every student, I think would be important to include, and other departments that have those types of communications already set up to add those things in, I think would be important in making sure everybody, including like faculty and staff, has an understanding of what's going on.
Thank you, Chris. Piero?
I can't really speak on how to increase communication between the administration and like students and faculty, but one area that I do want to focus on is COVID reporting numbers, and just ensuring that there is good levels of communication between the administration and everybody about what numbers there are, and updating them frequently and accurately.
Thank you. Caitlin?
Definitely on a personal level to kind of get to reach the personal connections between staff, ourselves, faculty, and administration. But on more of a broader spectrum, kind of making sure the students are aware that they can talk to certain people and make sure there's a connection that is made one-on-one.
All right. Beck?
That is a wonderful question, especially in the turbulent times with the COVID and like with the online education. So I believe that creating workshops and promoting events where the speakers will be, in which speakers will like tell more about their job, and explain the university behind the scenes, like so I think that making like events and workshops would be beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you. Angi?
Like everyone was saying, it's good to like make sure that the students are more into it. But I think we should also work with the teachers as well, because they're the other half of the communication end. We should also like try to make the teachers, the administration, we should also have them feel a lot more comfortable around us, because as professors, they usually feel a duty to remain professional to some extent with students. So if we can not necessarily erode it, but mostly bring that down a layer or two, I feel like they'd be a lot more open to discussing things with us in a more, not necessarily rude, a little more open way, It doesn't have to be caustic, but it just has to be a bit more open, a bit more frank, if that makes sense.
Thank you. And Beck, you wanted to say something else?
Yeah, sorry about that, but I would like to elaborate on my idea. So I think that implementation of the events, informal events, would help students to get to know their professors, their staff well, like from the other perspective than beside of the academic side. So students would have a chance to learn about their personality of the staff, maybe their interests, and find something common between them and the teachers and the staff personality administration.
All right, thank you. With that, we are out of time on our third extension. Does anyone else have any questions or a motion to extend? And if I don't see that in like the next 10 or so seconds, then I'm going to call it. All right, we're probably good. With that, can we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. So we're going to go into our typical 5-minute discussion period. So we're going, as you saw before with Riley, we're going to move all of the prospective senators into a waiting room, and we'll talk for some amount of time, and then we will bring you back. Hopefully it will be somewhat quick.
Prospective senators, please raise your hand. It will make it a lot easier to find you on the list of names. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Believe we're just waiting on that. All right. All the perspectives should be in the waiting room now.
Okay, there we go.
I'm still in this room.
And now Chris is not, I believe.
Yes, now Chris is in the other room.
All right, people. Let's get this discussion period started. Okay, so we have 5 minutes for discussion. Anyone want to make a good point? Nova.
Yeah, so speaking as myself, I'm sure a lot of people can agree. The biggest problem facing the Senate right now is the lack of understanding and kind of being with the student body. We're really having a trouble engaging and having the student body have faith in us as an institution and understanding our purpose. That being said, with the questions asked, I do believe Beck Muhammad gave the best outline and was consistently on the point that on the idea that SGA's biggest problem is being with the student body and is engaging and being an institution that students trust and feel empowered in. So I would like to give a specific condemnation to Beck Muhammad, and I will be voting for him to fill the vacancy.
All right. Their point of information for any comments. We do have 6 vacancies. We have 6 vacancies. And we will be effectively using like a total vote system where every senator will be given 6 votes, which they can give 1 per seat. The person who gets the most votes total, or the top 6 people who get the most votes, are the people who will be finally nominated. Yeah, Elio.
Okay, so basically what I see tonight is they have a thorough understanding of what they want to do. They have a clear and concise point in basically every subject area that we cover. They know exactly what they would like to accomplish in SGA, and I absolutely love that. Of course, I think there are a few people that may lack the initiative or certain things that are a bit more centralized, though I do see Caitlin, Beck, Hamid, Chris, Piero, Andrew, and Anshu making very good additions for the Senate. So I'll make sure to give them a commendation for that as well.
All right, not a condemnation. Did you mean Angi?
Sorry, Angi. Thank you.
Got
I do
it.
apologize for that.
That's fine. Naeem?
I think we had a lot of great motivated candidates here tonight. I just say I'm excited to of course get some new perspectives into Senate. As Nova touched on earlier, we are struggling to connect with our students. As I said a couple weeks ago, we are the gladiators for our students. So doing what is in their best interest to serve them is important. And it's great to see so many excited people interested in, helping to bolster SGA and make it into the organization we know it can be. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say specific names.
Thank you, Naeem. Does anyone else have a comment or anything they would like to say? Seeing none. I did send a message earlier in the Senate agendas chat asking for if anyone would support a motion to table the vote until the end, rather than calling the previous question, i.e. voting now, so that the prospective senators can voice their opinions in the things we are voting on tonight. So do I have a motion for tabling until the end of the meeting?
Motion for tabling until the end of the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have an objection? Seeing none, we can bring the prospective senators back into the room where I will explain what we have decided and we'll vote on them at the end of the meeting. All right. Hello, guys. You should all be back now. So we have the Senate has decided that we are going to table the actual official vote. Sorry about that. Table the actual official vote for you guys until the end of the meeting so we can get to know you a little bit better and just actually allow you to see what SGA is about. You'll effectively be treated as a senator except in voting permissions. So feel free to make comments, ask questions, or anything like that throughout the rest of the meeting. And towards the end, we will actually vote. So moving on, we have a student organization proposal. Sorry for making you stay so late, but do we have a representative from Skin Deep here with us?
Hi, my name is Keisha. I'm the current president and the founder of Skin Deep. Is it okay if I share a presentation that I prepared? It's really short.
Yes, it is. Your mic is a little bit quiet. Would it be possible to get a little closer to it or something along those lines?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Let me enable screen sharing. All participants. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, Skin Deep it was started by me. This is an idea that I had from high school. So basically, Skin Deep is a Black women-led organization that, of course, will include other people of color that will lead this organization. It's basically an inspiration to bring unity and awareness to the students of IIT, to the culture and environment of the surrounding neighborhoods of Chicago. And the idea is to disassemble the invisible bubble that the campus of IIT has created and prevented students from exploring like the city of Chicago that are outside like the north side, downtown Chicago, and like the surrounding neighborhoods such as Bridgeport and Chinatown. And Skin Deep has 3 programs, which is the open mic, a fashion design program, and a woman identified or femininity mentorship sisterhood program. The goals is basically to provide an environment that caters primarily to students of color to indulge in 7 forms of self-expression. However, other students are also welcome to join in. It just like basically is going to cater to students of color since their voices are less likely to be heard or to be put up front. It's also to provide a space for students to interact with each other and people of the Chicago community on a more cultural and personal level, and basically to provide more resources and space for students to improve themselves. Whether this can be like a job, like their talent can turn into a job, or like their own personal thing that they want to do. More about Skin Deep is basically just like giving students the ability to self-express without being judged within a safe space, without having to filter their own experience. Also to build relationships with the IT community as well as like the communities of Chicago. This first started off as just like an idea of like an open mic, but I expanded into like the woman program, the mentorship program, and the fashion design program, as that is more inclusive of these ideas that I'm trying to express with the open mic. It's of course still going to be catering to students of color, but also welcome to other students as well. It's a space for them to express themselves and to interact with each other. It's also like it does not limit like people who are outside of IT's campus. This is welcoming everyone in order to bring like this interactive space of breaking the bubble that IIT has created. Basically, our starting policy is, don't do anything discriminatory or derogatory. Obviously, you would be warned of any of our programs. You would be warned first and explained why these actions could be harmful to other people or to themselves. And if you repeat these actions or words again after you have been thoroughly explained to why these actions or words are harmful, you will be asked to leave. The open mic is basically like the start of everything. So like basically the open mic is going to allow participants from the student body, as well as like the surrounding community. These are allowing all forms of expression: spoken word poetry, music production, comedy, magic, TED Talks, singing, rapping, any forms of self-expression. This is a space for students. This is no space for any forms of discrimination. This space is basically for people. Well, basically, there will be a safe space inside this open mic, since there are a lot of triggers for people, whether people are talking about like their own personal experience of like sexual harassment, sexual assault, or just discrimination, anything in general. If someone experiences a trigger, or like they get triggered during a performance, they will be directed to a safe space. Hopefully, this program will be in a blog. I was thinking that it could be set up in the back area before you turn the corner into like the performance space. Basically, if any person is triggered or experiencing a panic attack or anxiety attack, they will be aware of a member of Skin Deep, or be welcome to go to the safe space to basically calm down, or just like talk about it, or just write it down. Anything to just help them, calm down. So the Women Identified Femininity Identity Mentorship Program is basically for women, centered around women, or centered around non-binary people who identify with femininity, as well as men who identify with femininity. And most of one of the important topics I want to talk about is emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, and emotional availability, as well as consent, blanket consent, and boundaries, because these are like things that people don't really talk too much about. And I want to dig deeper on these topics, as well as the topics that are on here as well. The fashion design program is mostly created to give people an outlet, as well as like to, because some people don't have like access to certain things. So like we want to be able to provide them like the history of fashion styles and the significance in every other culture, and to create like just like to give them that platform and the space to do what they want, and also learn about other things along the way. Anything is anything that's requested that or suggested by participants will be somehow incorporated into these programs, as this is a space for students and for students to grow and learn. Thank you for your time. Any questions? Stop sharing unless you guys want me to keep this up here in case you want to go back to some slides.
If you could stop sharing and we can go back to the SGA slides. Thank you though for that wonderful presentation. So as you were about to talk about, we are going to enter into a 5-minute questions and answer period. And again, prospective senators, feel free to ask questions if you would like. So we have our first question from Beck. This period will be 5 minutes, by the way.
Okay, so that was a nice presentation, but I guess I missed the part where about the budget allocation. How did you manage your resources, financial resources? And also, I'm wondering about room rental. I know that most of the rooms, most of the spaces are free in the Illinois Tech, but some of them, which have like mics and like devices, are not free. So how did you manage that?
So when thinking about the spaces, I've also talked with Union Board as well as BSU about certain like spaces that are a lot cheaper, or like what can I have food places at. And I thought that the bog would be a good space, because more so thinking about the price of like how much the room space would cost, I was thinking about how would this space impact the program and the people within who are participating in this program. How would it bring them together? And the bog has a more intimate space. So like the idea of having an open mic there would be more inclusive and more likely to make people interact. And I've also thought about the ballroom, but like the ballroom in the bog, but it's a little bit larger, and that would not create an intimate space. So I'm just thinking more about the people, because that's the importance of it all. The people are what's important, not really that much of like the money problem, as that could be solved potentially. And if it is a big problem, there are cases where it can be like an MTCC, which I wouldn't recommend because MTCC is not really that much of an intimate space. But yeah, it's the people that's more important to me. I'm more thinking of like rather than how much it costs by money, I'm thinking about how could this affect the students.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a point of information for the prospective senators, and there were several comments about this, that there are a series of documents which you might not have previously had access to, which include just general descriptions of all of the specific motions that are going to occur throughout the rest of the hearing. For example, with Skin Deep, there was their student organization proposal, which included their budget as well as a general description of their student organization. In addition, as Chloe said, most room reservations are free with very small technician fees for some specific locations. Nova pointed out that their budget is the $1,214 plus potential tax. So yeah, just bits of information. Feel free to ask questions. It's just information difference. Mohammed or Hamid, sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Takesha. So first of all, I think it's a really good idea. I really like the events you mentioned. But I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on the point you mentioned at the beginning about connecting to the surrounding communities. Do you guys have any plans of how to kind of achieve that? Like maybe how your event is gonna kind of foster that connection?
So I'm from the south side of Chicago. So before coming to IIT, I attended a lot of open mics, so I have built a lot of connections with a lot of people who own open mics. And what I was going to do was I was going to reach out to those people who I have a personal connection with.
To Kesha?
Like they here and they'll like do a joint open mic with me, or we bring students there to have an open mic with them, or basically it's just like collaboration with different people that are like in different parts of Chicago. And a lot of times what the school does is they push students to go to downtown Chicago or to Bridgeport and Chinatown or the north side, but they tell students specifically do not go to the south side. And my idea is that I want students to venture to the south side to learn more about the culture of the south side and people who live there, as they would most likely end up connecting with those people. And I think that the South Side has a lot of enriching culture that a lot of people just do not tap into. And the South Side has now started to talk a lot more about mental health and how to handle different situations. And I think that would be a great benefit to our school, as well as like allowing them onto our campus and allowing ourselves to go into those spaces. So I think it would be beneficial for students to just do that.
All right, thank you for that. So we have run out of time. Do I have a motion to extend questioning at all? Got it. Do I have a second for Naeem's motion? Perfect. All right. Naeem?
Chris, did you have a question?
If you would like to go ahead, that's fine. I don't want to.
No. By all means, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to say I definitely appreciate the basically what you're doing with this organization. And I know you discussed basically allowing new things to be added to it as participants want. And my question for you is, do you have an idea on a formal implementation structure? Because sometimes if you cast the net too wide, it can be difficult to manage. And I very much believe that if you can do these things in this organization for these people on campus, that's amazing. And I was just wondering like how you would plan to do that Because it can be daunting, of course.
So I actually have experience with doing multiple things at once. I used to work for a nonprofit organization where I had to rebrand a lot of nonprofit organizations. And one of the things that we have to learn is multitasking, as well as learning how to handle a lot of things at once. So with this problem, with the issue of handling multiple ideas coming to me at once, it will be more so what is talked about more, what can I implement now and what can I implement later, and like basically what can be switched out, what can be switched in. And basically any topic that is not really getting talked about much or being interacted with as much would be taken off, will put on the back burner until like it is requested again. So these ideas will still stay there. They just won't be as active as others.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Naeem, you have a question?
Okay, good. Yes. First of all, Takesha, I want to say thank you so much. Actually, Chris and Hamid took my questions already. So my questions were going to be A, how exactly do you plan on connecting to the South Side, which was asked, and B, how will you narrow down your focus? As someone who is from the South Side Chicago, I just want to say thank you very much. And if you need any help, feel free to reach out to me, especially in regard to getting other student orgs involved in the mission as well. So thank you so much for reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Naeem. And I don't think that's something to apologize for. I think he was saying good job. Caitlin, you have a minute.
Yes.
You have about a minute left, by the way.
Okay. Hello, Takesha. I definitely do believe your organization fills a much needed spot within the community as a whole at IIT. My only question is, you mentioned something about safe places and having an area of relief for people who get triggered. Will you be providing, or will the organization be providing either counselors or somebody who is trained handling, say, panic attacks or anxiety attacks of that manner?
So with this issue, basically I am talking right now with Jackie, who is helping with the Women's Center, which is starting tomorrow. So she actually reached out to me and she said anything that I need, basically, that to do with those situations of anything women involved or anything like involved with mental health, I can reach out with her to. And also I'm part of ESI, which means I have access to a lot of ESI like resources. And I plan on becoming peer mentor, which I'm actually working on right now. And basically with these situations, I will basically learn how to handle them, as well as like go to people that can also help me handle these situations. So I'm also gonna talk to the health department from IIT, like to see if like there's a way that I can do a collaboration with them in a way that we can put mental health, like people who handle people who have panic attacks, or what to do in situations of panic attacks or anxiety attacks, because they are both two different things that happen for both of those. So I would like to talk to SHAC to handle those situations, or how to better handle those situations when those situations come up.
And we have run out of time. Thank you for your answers, your questions and answers. About to do it backwards. Do we have a motion to extend time? Naeem has put on a motion to extend time by 3 minutes. Do we have a second? All right. Nova, I saw you raised your hand for a short bit.
I was going to move to go into discussion, but if there are still questions, I will hold on that. I imagine Naeem was extending, so I'd like to move to go into discussion then.
All right. Got it.
Second.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing any other hands raised, so I don't believe we have any other questions. So we can move into discussion. Same thing all over again. We'll put you in a waiting room. Takesha, sorry. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. All right. Nova, you have a comment?
Yes, I do. I would just like to say it is very awesome to see a organization that is very brazenly, very outwardly progressive and pushing to let IIT recognize that there are more parts of Chicago than just downtown and Newport and Chinatown, and to offer a space to minority students and that focuses on more sensitive topics, I think just like undisputably is a great thing. So this organization has my full support and I'll be voting yay.
All right, Naeem.
I just wanted to say, yeah, I think this org, as already been said, it seems very popular. We've had a lot of student orgs, not a lot, but a fair amount come at least in the past couple of years. I've been a part of SGA, come and say, oh, we're going to do something to the South Side, then, you know, kind of fizzle out. I have a lot more confidence, you know, with this org though, because it seems though they already have connections made in place and a plan, at least with the open mic thing, which I remember, you know, being from the South Side of Chicago, that is a very big thing. It was a very big thing in my high school spoken word. I'm really excited to see how that can translate to IIT, because I'm sure there's a lot that students want to say. It would give us a chance to integrate with the community on that front alone, in addition to the many other things that this org can provide. So I'm optimistic.
All right, thank you, Naeem. Hamid?
Yeah, I actually was just gonna say what Nova just put in chat. I think Takesha was really prepared. I thought all of her answers were really good, and it seems like she's done a lot of planning from beforehand, reached out to a lot of people, and that kind of gives me confidence that she can actually, and her organization can accomplish the things she's talking about. So yeah,
All right.
I support the organization.
Got it. Thank you. And we have a motion from Derek to move the previous question. Second, so Ben, you can go ahead and release the voting form. And I'll move Takesha back in. All right. Thank you for presenting your organization, Takesha. We should have results to you by tomorrow morning. I'll officially email them to you. We should have them at the end of this meeting, but this is going to be a pretty long meeting, so you don't have to stay if you do not want to. You can just not worry about it. Anyways, we are going to move on to our second item, or no, third item of today, a proposed resolution for in-person Senate from Derek Ray. Derek, would you like to quickly summarize your resolution?
Yeah, I would be more than happy to. So in general, the Senate has been online for about almost 2 years to this point, since COVID-19 first hit. And I think at this point, I'm one of a handful of people that have actually seen Senate in person. And quite frankly, I kind of want to see it come back. I think, you know, as the state continues to move in the positive direction with COVID numbers, and as policies continue to evolve, other student orgs are starting to meet in person. I do feel as if it's time that the SGA Senate does move back to meeting in person. Other branches of SGA meet in person, including Judicial Board and Finance Board. So I think it's time that we do so as well. That being said, I wanted to make sure, Senator Kramer and I wanted to make sure that, you know, all specific conditions are met for anybody that is unable to make 9:15 p.m. meetings on Wednesday nights, whether they're a commuter or they have specific concerns relating to illness or whatever else, or if they have, you know, specific permission from the university to attend classes online, maybe they're out of the country, whatever else. There are ways that we can handle that written into the resolution. We wanted to make sure we take those into account. But I would like to see Senate come back in person. I think everybody communicates a little bit better and gets along a little bit better. We're able to communicate a little bit more effectively. And honestly, it's just more fun. I feel like if we're in person, we're able to engage a little bit better. People aren't, you know, sitting there playing on their computers and doing whatever else, not paying attention. They're in person. They're sitting there. They're attentive. They're listening. So I hope y'all consider this. I think it's a great resolution. I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all might have about it.
All right. And as usual, we're going into a 5-minute questioning period starting now. Wyatt.
So the university has their own contact tracing system, but I was wondering if we could maybe like design some sort of procedure if somebody tests positive for COVID regarding like Senate meetings, especially if it was like during a period where people could have been exposed. Because I mean, the university is very unreliable, in my opinion, when it comes to contact tracing, considering it got sent to spam in the past. So I think it might be a good idea to think about that. So if you have anything to say about that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Wyatt. I would definitely say that we would be following university protocol to whatever end that might be, whether that's capacity limits or mask mandates, whatever else. Additionally, we do keep track of every single person that comes to a Senate meeting, so that we do have a method of contact tracing in that regard. So anybody that does show up, if somebody does test positive and they tell the university, hey, I went to a Senate meeting last Wednesday, these are the people that were there, you can contact SGA, whatever. There is that methodology in place. Obviously, we can try to look into, who do you sit next to? Maybe we can do a seating chart that might be feasible. But to the same extent that we go to class every single day, there's no reason we can't sit in a relatively vacant room, two people in between and have to worry too much about anything.
All right. Thank you for that, Derek. Chris, you have a question?
Yeah, just additionally, I know some places when they're getting back in person, if they're doing meetings like this, they prefer people who are talking to have their masks off. And I was wondering, can we still do masking even if someone is not comfortable, even after a mask mandate is done, taking off their mask, can we still allow them to wear their mask when they are presenting and speaking, just for health and safety reasons on their end?
I would say we haven't gotten quite to that point yet. That's not within, I would say, the scope of this resolution. The resolution just says we will abide by whatever university policy is, and we can pass this resolution today and pass something a couple weeks into the future if the university does change something and the Senate feels very strongly about remaining masks. We can have that conversation when we come to it. But for now, the university hasn't made any sort of policy decisions or anything in that regard. For now, everybody still has to keep their masks on. So that would be the Senate's policy going forward.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you both. Isaiah.
Yep, thank you. I just had like a quick, I guess, kind of clarification question for you, Derek, just because it wasn't explicitly said in the resolution. I was just wondering, does the executive vice president, of course, as chair of the Senate, do they have the, I guess, the power to kind of say if Senate is going to be virtual or not? I was just wondering.
So after the passage of this resolution, the implication is that Senate will be in person. It doesn't specifically give the executive vice president the ability to make it in person. That being said, the resolution does talk about how we will, again, abide by university COVID-19 policies. So if we are forced back online for some reason, of course, we will abide by that. The only specific permission that the executive vice president has, according to this resolution, is the ability to grant people online access. So for whatever reason they need to be online, they have extenuating circumstances, whatever, they have the ability to approve that. But as for now, the exec VP doesn't have the ability to unilaterally move Senate online, according to the resolution.
All right, thank you. Naeem?
But yeah, I just want to make it clear. I mean, if you want to wear a mask in the future, you are not comfortable, unmasking it, even if the mandate's over. No one should be going around saying, oh, well, you can't wear a mask because it's then at that point your choice and you can still continue to wear one. And to my knowledge, that's going to be anywhere really. So just know that no, Senate will not be yanking masks. That would be highly inappropriate. But I did want to ask the question and also bring up RHA. I know we are having our first in-person meeting in about 2 years this coming Monday. We at least I want to, yes. At least I want to ask, oh goodness, now I lost my question. Oh darn. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. So late. Come back to me possibly later. I'll maybe do it in discussion.
All right, gotcha. Are there any other questions for Derek? years.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you. My question for you, Derek, was what exactly, what implementations from this post-COVID era of virtual Senate will you implement into this, return to in-person? What have we learned, or you feel is useful to continue as a tradition from this virtual era?
And we did just run out of time, so Derek, if you wouldn't mind making it fairly quick, unless there is a motion to extend.
Motion to extend by 3 minutes.
Okay, got it. Do I have a second? Got it.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Thank you for the question, Naeem. I would say in general, we would try to keep around the flexibility to remain online in the event that's necessary. I think the Senate does have the authority in the event of like inclement weather or anything like that to make their own decision as to whether or not they want to be in person or online. This does talk about like an ability to reasonably travel to and from campus. So if not enough people are able to get to campus because of, say, a snowstorm, we could theoretically move the meeting online, or at least most people could be online. I would say in general, we're going to try to steer clear from online interactions. I think it's rather ineffective when we're not talking directly to each other's faces and actually having a conversation. It's just one person talking into a dead mic. I think the one thing I've learned from COVID is that online sucks. So I hope we get to see each other in person very, very soon.
All right. Thank you. Jason?
Yeah, I was curious. I was looking over your overall doc. I don't know if I missed it, but we used to, for those that remember in person, we would enjoy plenty of snacks together and build kind of the homebodiness of it. But I guess, is there anything written or that will be mentioned about, I guess, snacking while eating in there? I know people would bring their dinners there, people would eat outside together, people would eat there together. So I guess, is that something that we should focus on eliminating until future notice? Only outside? Just kind of curious about just overall snacking and drinking within the meeting.
No, great question. I would say refer down to the third resolved clause. Again, the Senate will reflect any university policy, whatever that may be. Currently, as it stands, you are allowed to pull down your mask to actively eat or drink in whatever scenario you feel appropriate. Until the university puts in different regulations, I put that on the Senate to have that conversation at a later date. But that's not, like I said, that's not within the scope of this right now. This is simply just to follow university policy as it stands at whatever present time.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions? If not, yeah, I don't think we do.
Motion to move to discussion.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Second.
All right. Well, now we can move into the standard discussion period. Derek, you know what's happening. Get into the weight room. All right. With that, we're going to have 5 minutes on the clock. Nova.
So one thing I would know.
Wait. Ben, into the weighing room too. Cram it.
Wait, right. Thank you.
Hold a minute, gentlemen. We're both voting members here. Are we not allowed to partake in the discussion?
You're a
It's
co-member
discussion
on
on
the
your
resolution. You're a co-member of the resolution, so.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Good catch, Naeem. So I am generally in support of this bill. I just like to make two statements. One, currently Illinois still has more cases than all but two spikes during the COVID-19 pandemic, including the previous Omicron spike and the Delta variant spike from about a year ago. That being said, we are very quickly decreasing those cases. And the only thing I mean when I bring that up is I think we should take a careful look and be monitoring the COVID situation closely. But I think we should proceed with this legislation. So I will be voting yay.
All right. Do I have Chloe?
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to, I guess, share my support for this as well. From my perspective, I think that a lot of our classes are in person. I also think we work significantly better when we're in person. Finance board works much better when we're in person. SGA executive meetings work better in person. And I think that not only could we get a lot more done, but it would also be nice to see you all and develop the relationships that we used to have prior to COVID, because I felt like before we were a family and now I think we're just a bunch of people on a screen. So it would be nice to be around you all. And I just wanted to share my support and insight into that.
All right. Thank you. Naeem?
Yeah, so I just want to say, I think it's going to be really exciting, potentially going back into in person. Of course, that's what a lot of the orgs are doing now. It's what RHA is doing. It's what it is happening. And thank goodness, things are improving with COVID and we have the ability to do this safely. I would say one thing is perhaps this is going to help us a little bit more with recognize, a little bit more, getting more visibility on campus. There we go. Because we know that's been an issue with SGA. We literally are, I guess, in the cloud and kind of like on this other level of plane of existence, and students don't really see us as something interactable and interactive. There we go. And a resource to them. So perhaps being in person will instill a little bit more of that drive. And I think for almost everyone on this call, with the exception of maybe Derek and some of our other veterans, this will be a brand new kind of lease on life for SGA and just bring a little bit more spirit.
Got it. Thank you, Naeem.
Move the previous question.
All right. Do I have a second? All right. Thank you. Ben, go ahead and release the voting form, and I'm going to admit Derek back into the room. And Ben. All right. And with that, we're going to move on to the next thing in our agenda, an open letter from Elio about COVID-19 reporting. Elio, could you please summarize it real quick?
Correction. It is from Elio and Nova.
Thank you.
But yes, so essentially this open letter highlights the issues that we were facing when we were barely coming back to on-campus learning, that being in-person learning. There was a misreporting of COVID cases on the week of January 21st that could have completely jeopardized the student population here on campus, and I think it sort of did. So yeah, this open letter is essentially made to address those concerns that many students had, that I was essentially informed about. And this is essentially directed towards human resources in an effort to maybe push more accurate COVID case reporting. So yeah.
All right. Thank you. We're going to move into our normal 5-minute discussion period. So if anyone has any questions, please raise their hand. Or Q&A, not discussion.
I guess I can go ahead. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand. I just wanted to ask, I guess, to Elio and Nova, if you all could kind of walk us through the story of how this came to be and how you found out. How did this become apparent to us?
Yes, absolutely. So basically, January 16th, I was told by one of my very close friends that there was an issue with the COVID reporting of the COVID cases, is that they stopped reporting the cases almost bi-daily to weekly. And I do remember them reporting it bi-daily, though as far as they've been telling me, it's been reported weekly ever since day one. And essentially he informed me that they were no longer reporting COVID cases after a certain date, and that we were due to go back to campus, to in-person campus learning on, I believe it was the 24th. And essentially what ended up happening is he was keeping track of the COVID cases very closely. And when they had updated the COVID cases the following week on the week of the 25th, essentially there was a massive spike that had gone unreported by the university. So that's how we came about this issue. And that's essentially the story behind that.
All right, thank you for that context. Are there any other questions / concerns? Wyatt.
I was wondering if there was any like faculty or administration that you'd reached out to or anything that you know about that, like who might have been responsible.
Yes, I did not personally reach out to the faculty. This was the person who I had previously mentioned. However, they did in fact try reaching out to the person who's responsible for sending out those weekly emails, that being Hillary Hudson. They never responded. It was tossed around between human resources people until it finally ended up in the inbox of Catherine Stutz. Then she finally gave a response that was a bit more settling for this person. But yeah, essentially, regardless of the response that they got, the COVID cases were still incorrectly reported. So yeah.
All right, are there any other questions? Do I have a motion to move into discussion?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded then.
Thank you. All right. So as before, Elio and Nova, I'm going to move you into the waiting room so we can discuss. All right. Thank you. So as before, 5-minute standard discussion period. If you have something to say, raise your hand now. So any questions or any comments or anything anyone wants to say?
I think this is very serious. Obviously, it is important that we are able to trust the university, at least with things like this. And if we can't, then that's very dangerous. It's very scary. And I know when Nova and Elio brought the issue to me, I wasn't quite sure what I could do about it, but I know they brought it to me in the as a representative of RHA. And really, we talked with our residents about it at the last meeting, and we're going to talk with them about it at our upcoming one as well. And many were very shocked to hear this. Nova, I think, was actually a representative there at the meeting. Many were very shocked to hear this. And we're really wondering, I guess kind of what's the truth, I guess is really what we're all wondering. And we're just hoping something like this doesn't happen again.
All right, thank you. Angi?
Yeah, given this new information, I think we should also revisit Derek's proposal of in-person meetings, because I feel like the information about COVID reporting and potential testing could be quite kind of changes things a little, in my opinion. I feel like we might need to be a lot more careful when it comes to actually coming back in person then, so we don't cause a spread on campus, even by accident,
Thank you for that. Wyatt?
I would just say that I disagree with that. I think our decision still stands in that, like, we're still going to classes. Like it's essentially we're having a class together, except it's SGA. And I think contact tracing as well as just wearing masks is enough regardless of the information. And the information now I still believe is that cases are at least like not drastically rising.
And you also made a point of information. You had a point of information earlier on the chat about precedent being that proposing senators are allowed in the room during discussion period. That is something that I'm kind of coming to my own thoughts on right now. How I'm applying it during this meeting is that they can still vote, but they are moved into the waiting room. So that is, and as far as I understand, it is under my jurisdiction to make a choice like that. I'm just wanting to apply it consistently. I initially applied that during Derek's, and I'm going to continue to apply it just to be fair across all issues. Naeem, you have a point?
Sure. Yeah, I just want to say that's the case, then this whole thing with the university and us having in-person classes would have to be rethought. My hope is that the misreporting wasn't that drastic to the point where we have to completely change campus life. Like I said, I guess time will tell. But yeah, I mean, something like that would if action needs to be taken, that said action would have to be more drastic than just the isolated motion from before of just this one student organization.
All right, got it. Thank you. Are there any other comments or anything someone like to say? That's why, Kiru, your point, that is why I'm coming to a decision about it. I am wanting to be, I am doing what I'm doing because I would like to be consistent throughout this particular meeting. It's something for me to think about personally, but I would like to be consistent for this meeting at least. We have about 30 seconds or so.
I moved the previous.
Okay, got it. Do I have a second for that? All right, Ben, you can go ahead and release the voting form. And I will move them back in. Thank you, Ben. All right, you know how it goes. We will be moving on to our final unusual agenda item of the night. Another open letter from Nova about student employment accountability is the way that I chose to summarize it. So Nova, if you would summarize it as usual.
Sure. I'll keep it short. This bill isn't really targeted at any particular bad incident. It's more of looking to create protections and help inform student employees and prospective student employees. And that aims to do it through 4 ways, which are listed A through D in the open letter. The first is to publish the student employment count of each department or facility on campus from the previous 2 terms. The second is to publish general student employment demographics across campus of the previous year or 2 terms. The third is to publish the average hourly student wage paid out across campus from the previous 2 terms. And the final, and perhaps most substantial, is to conduct a term-long anonymous poll of all students employed during any period of the term, collecting student ratings of their experiences and potential complaints with their employer, the My IAT EDU student worker dashboard and interface, and Handshake in a manner similar to that of the term-long student course evaluation. And that has 2 subpoints, specifically to stick with student course evaluations, to not conduct polling for those employed by employers who have less than 3 student employees, which is how we do it with course evaluations, and to publish these average student ratings from the previous 2 terms of each employer on Handshake or any future student employment interface. Just to go under the ethos of that real quick, the first bit about student employment count is to kind of go hand in hand with the second one, which is general student employment demographics, which is to make sure that students are getting meaningful employment and that there's no discrimination. And it can be easily checked by anyone. I think that's the key thing, is having it as transparent and as easily accessible is the greatest way to keep accountability. The third, to publish hourly student wage, is to have students be able to compare and have an expectation for what student employment on campus might look like versus other employment options available to them, and to just have it, again, as transparent as possible, and students could do with their information as they will. And for the final point, the worker or the employer evaluations, I think that is important because I have met a lot of students who have had problems specifically with the dashboard and interface on the my.iat.edu and Handshake. I think having a coordinated single thing where all employers can know and this admin know that there is a problem, that, or if there's a problem, that they know. And that's not like each employee fending for themselves and being like, well, I don't know if it's just me. So yeah, I think that concludes my brief introduction.
All right, thank you. As usual, 5-minute questions and answers. If anyone has a question, feel free to raise their hand. Naeem.
I guess, Nova, this is going to be pretty rudimentary, but at least I would expect this would be a yes. But just in case you didn't know, have you at least checked the student employment handbook that is published on the website for the SEO? For IITs.
Are you just asking if I have looked at the handbook?
Yes. Do you know if it's existence?
Yes, I am aware, and
okay.
I have
Okay, that's all. Okay, that was a very rudimentary question. I was expecting so. I believe the wage info is there, at least regarding that. As for the other transparency measures you make, oh yeah, that definitely is not present, and it's something that will be worth a discussion for sure. But
so for as far as I am aware, they only publish the minimum wages. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, they just describe what Chicago law has, which is for employers of less than 20 or so, you can pay $13 an hour, and for anything greater, it's $50 an hour, and that's just in accordance with Chicago law.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? All right, do I have a motion to move to discussion?
Moved.
Second. Do I have a second? Yep, perfect, thank you. So as usual, Nova, I'm going to move you into, yep. We'll see you in a bit, okay? All right. With that, standard 5-minute question and or discussion period. Sorry. If anyone has a point they want to make, go ahead. Naeem?
Oh, that was okay. I guess I would too. Sorry, that was from before. But I did want to say, yeah, it took me, I don't know how long, about a good 3 weeks for the student employment office to push through my work. And before that, it has taken a very long time, I know, for some students to get onboarded for their jobs, which has been very unacceptable, especially for students that have bills to pay, that rely on their income from these jobs. And that's pushing aside the fact that it's hard to find these jobs to begin with. So I couldn't be any more of a fan of Nova's proposal here for more transparency, because there seems to be a lack of job availability. And on top of that, just this onboarding process seems to take forever, especially for students that are, I was already in the system from 2 jobs ago, and it still took me 3 weeks to start my job this semester. I had to go without pay for 3 weeks. So, yeah.
All right.
I don't know what that is. What's going on there?
Thank you. Are there any other points that people would like to be made? Angi.
Yeah, I think like we could also focus a bit more on international student stuff too. Like as personally, I did a job last semester and place of employment didn't check that I was international. They didn't tell me that I had to worry about any international stuff. And maybe I did also ask, but when I got back to them about it, about getting a job offer, getting a letter, about getting stuff done, so that I can actually get the money that I'm earning, they didn't really respond. So I think that we could also work on that, like a little more specifically, I guess. I feel like if it's happening to me, it's probably happening to others as well. Is what, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Are there any other points? All right. I'm not really seeing any. So do I have a motion to move the previous question?
So moved.
Yes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So with that, Ben, you can release the voting form. Yes, Sandy, I know it is getting very, very late. I have a soft cap that I'm going to say at about 11:15 and a hard stop at 11:30. I don't think it's going to take us until that particular point in time because we are now going on to executive reports. So Ben, you have an executive report to get, just some stuff to let us know.
Before we do exec reports, do we want to take up the vote on the vacancies?
Right. Yes, we should. So I believe that when a vote comes off the table, it enters into a small discussion period. Does anyone else have any points that they would like to make about that? About the Senate vacancies at all? I know for certain one thing I'd like to say is thank you guys for staying so late. I know it's a long meeting, but we appreciate it.
I set a motion to take it off of the table.
Seconded.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. I'm wonderful with this procedural stuff, aren't I? Can someone call the question? Call the previous question?
I call the previous question for the vacancies. Oh.
All right. I'm guessing Samir, are you going to second that? Thank you. Ben, you can go ahead and release the voting forum. All right. So while all of those votes are taking place, we can.
Exec reports.
Yep.
So exec elections are coming. Be sure to vote on March 2nd. We have 2 people running for president, 4 people running for student life, 2 people running for finance board chair, 0 people running for VP of events, and 1 person running for all the offices, which I did not just name. So some interesting elections. The candidate forums will be on February 28th and March 1st. So if you've got time during the lunch hour, I believe, come to the auditorium to listen to the candidates tell you about what they want to do. Office move. We are mostly in the new office. There's a handful of stuff in the old office we still need to move out. There was a small issue with the power, but it has power now, so the office is nice and roomy. Candygrams. We sold several candygrams across multiple days, so that was a success. Vacancies, we still need a VP of events, a VP of communications, and an exec assistant. So if any of those would interest you, please let us know. The next Constitution discussion will be February 26th in Pritzker 111. And Samir just reminded us that tomorrow is the opening of the Women's Center. I believe that program kicks off at 11:30 in MSV. So if you are available to check that out, everyone is welcome. Go see the start of the Women's Center. Although if you're a commuter and the weather is bad, stay home, stay safe. That's all I've got.
All right. Thank you. Next, we have some reports from the campus administration. Celestine.
Good evening, everyone. I'm reading the notes that are posted. BHM supports our org hosting events. February 18th, NSBE, BSU, ASO, game night in the bog. That's 8 to 10. And then on the 28th, NSBE, BSU, ASO, Black History Month event, and that will be from 6 to 8, located in the MTCC ballroom. Also, I wanted to add, I'm adding this in the chat because I got this information late today, but it's about women in transportation and a presentation for that. So I'm adding it now. I didn't want to add it out of order.
You're perfectly
But
fine.
it should have the link. It says Women in Transportation. It's an initiative and it's taking place February 24th at 1 o'clock. It was actually an overlap with our career fair. So we're having next week. We have virtual and on-campus events leading up until March 2nd. So we'll have that information posted where you can see the actual disciplines and be able to attend.
All right.
And that's all that I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a great meeting. A lot
Yeah.
of detail and order. I always admire attending your meetings. I think you all are doing an excellent job. And I actually praise your courage for posting or more or less discussing topics of importance and just being transparent about it. So thank you for that.
Thanks. With that, we are right about at my soft cap. So if you have any senator reports or anything for open floor, unless it is urgent, please, it would be much preferred if you could report on it next week or discuss it with the exec board by talking to them through Slack or some various bit. Jason, you have something?
Sorry, I meant to do that for open floor. Sorry, I'll wait.
Got it. Naeem.
Just a notice, RHA will be having their meeting this Monday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the Pritzker Club. Notices will be going out to residents as soon as tomorrow morning, so just be on the lookout. Thank you all so much.
All right. Thank you. Are there any other senator reports? All right. Now we're moving into open floor. Jason.
Yes. We did mention student opportunities earlier, especially with the accountability form. But speaking of an opportunity, RA applications are open. Definitely go to the informational sessions and check it out. I'm an RA. I love the opportunity to build community with residents, as well as who doesn't love free housing? Am I right? So pretty excellent. It's a great opportunity on campus. And it's also just like a great workplace to be. I really enjoy it and I enjoy working with other RAs. And then secondly, Leadership Academy. you can also apply to that, but that is a scholarship available for first and second years and third year architectures as well. I also recommend applying to that if you want to work on your leadership skills, or you're already a great leader and you want to be in a group with other leaders, and it provides a full ride scholarship for tuition at least. Just again, excellent opportunities at IIT, and I don't know if you've gotten any emails about it, but please definitely check it out. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Does anyone else have anything for open floor?
If you have not voted on the Senate vacancies, we are currently in a position where we will need to do a runoff. So please, if you haven't voted, vote now.
All right. Beck.
So I'm wondering about like the obligations of the senators' obligations. I have an idea right now after like this meeting, but I'm wondering about like the requirements. For instance, do senators need to provide like proposals or open letters once a month, or like ideas?
There, someone correct me if I am wrong, but I believe the main requirements which are currently put on to senators are attendance at Senate meetings and at committee meetings. And with committee meetings, once you are assigned to one, you will be given various projects that you can work on and work towards. And really, it's the committees which are the workhorses, so to speak.
So thank you for your answer. I mean, the today's proposals, so we're on like volunteering basis, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, they were volunteering their time.
Okay, great.
Proposals and resolutions and amendments is effectively a senator felt passionate enough about this specific issue and wanted to very, very true, Derek. And that's something that I'm wanting to hopefully work on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
We actually, if we're going to swear in
Oh, wait,
senators
yeah.
tonight,
All right.
we need to do a quick vote off. So I'm going to quick release that form in the voting channel. So if you are a senator, please vote in the next, minute, please, so we can make a decision. It would be appreciated.
No, swearing in has to be at an official meeting. For some senators, that would be the ones who decided that they wanted to leave early, or prospective senators is what I mean.
So we will likely need to do a swearing in at the start of next meeting too, if people have already left.
Yes. It's likely.
Shouldn't we just do one then? Because it does take the same amount of time because it's all at once.
We could. We just wanted to be able to announce people tonight. So.
I mean, the results are going to be the same. So yeah, we can probably just swear them in at the top of next meeting. All right, are we good with that runoff vote, Ben?
8, 11, 6. So it could swing the other way depending on how the last 6 people vote. So I would say if you can vote within the next 2 minutes, we'll call it then.
All right.
So at 11:20, we will call it. I can announce the 5 who have who are clearly who have clearly passed the threshold. So the 5 are Beck, Chris, Angi, Piero, and Hamid.
What about the other votes of tonight?
The other votes of tonight. Starting with Riley was approved 13-0-0. Skin Deep was approved 13-0-1. In person passed on a, I can do mental math this late at night, 11-1-2 votes. The COVID open letter passed on a 2-7-0-5 votes. And the student employment accountability letter passed on a 10-0-3 votes. And give people just a few more seconds to fill out the other voting form. Okay, I'm going to call it now. And our 6th senator to fill the vacancy is Miss Caitlin Brown. Or actually, I don't know how. MX Caitlin Brown? I believe you
This
say
is
them.
fine too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was my bad.
All right. So more kind of formally, do I have a second for why it's adjournment?
You have a second.
All right, we're done.